Today in our Spotlight series, I'm joined by Dana D'Auria, Group President and Co-CIO of Envestnet Solutions. Specializing in wealth management technology, iCapital and Envestnet recently expanded our partnership to include alternative investments. Thanks so much, Dana, for being here today. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
It's great to have you here. And, let's start in the very beginning, which is tell us a little bit about Envestnet. What might the audience not know about the company?
Well, they'd be not blamed for not knowing because, of course, we are B2B. So we're sort of in the background of a lot of brand names that folks probably do know, like Mass Mutual or Osaic or Sotera, right? These are introducing broker-dealers who use the Envestnet platform. Envestnet is basically it's overused word, but an ecosystem, a financial ecosystem used by broker-dealer clients and RIAs to actuate their advisory business. So proposal generation, creating documentation, billing, reporting, and then around that, all of the kind of pieces that, a financial advisor might want to use, like financial planning, data and analytics for insights, spending insights, et cetera.
So really everything the financial advisor may want and need in their fingertips to transact and, do the public markets business in their practice. And of course, your role is also very expansive because you're the co-CIO for Envestnet Solutions and also you serve as the group president. So tell me a little bit about both of those.
Sure. So I have a foot in the investment side as co-CIO. But the group president role is really running the P&L of the investment side. And that is pretty much our TAMP, right? So our Turnkey Asset Management Program, which is our AUM-based business. We work with about 800 different managers who are on our platform, providing their solutions to the advisors that use our platform, really more than 100,000 advisors. And then within that, we also have our own investment management, the in-house, and it runs the gamut from models of ETFs and mutual funds to direct indexing solutions, tax overlay solutions, CIO support, et cetera.
And so let's pivot to the relationship between iCapital and Envestnet, speaking of the business side of it. So how did that come about and what's the focus today? How is it evolving?
It's a fantastic relationship. And, Envestnet always kind of looks at any market and says, okay, should we build, should we buy, or should we partner? And in the case of alternatives and structured notes, the partnership with iCapital is really a fantastic one for us to deliver the best that we can to our clients, to our mutual clients. On the alternative side, it's an SSO and a reporting feed. Mm-hmm. And then on the structured note side, it's actually a proposal integration where you can go through our proposal, go out to the iCapital infrastructure, pick out a structured note, have that come back into our system, and you can look at overall risk. So it's a very nice complement of services. We have a robust high net worth offering, and certainly that partnership is great for that.
All right. And so it's interesting that it's both sides of the equation, which is the structured investments and also the alternatives. And so you must see the demand from advisors for both sets of products. So how is that demand evolving? And, is there one area or another that's attracting more demand from advisors?
We're definitely seeing an increase in both, certainly structured products, defined outcome products, but also alternatives. There's always been a cohort of advisors who are very good at these different product classes. They're doing them, via an iCapital or even, directly. But the wealth management, we have so many advisors who want to get into that space. And we're increasingly seeing broker dealers as well who are saying, home offices who are saying, how do we make this easier for our advisors that they can use these types of products and get better access for their clients to some of these alternative, return streams and different outcome vehicles.
Right. Well, speaking of access, historically, access has been the pain point in the market. But I'm curious, what pain points do you see today that still need solving? And I assume tech is playing a big part of solving those.
Yes, 100%. When you talk about democratizing access and enabling people to get access to a private market return stream, a lot of the times it is, how does this integrate with the way that the advisor does business today? And so the way that we see tech solving this, of course, is better and better integration between, an iCapital and Envestnet, where the advisor can go through one sort of workflow and be able to get both their public market and their private market or hedge fund or structured note, right, structured product needs met. So I think tech and continuing to move forward on integrations is a big piece. The other thing I think too is product innovation. You're seeing a lot of folks, obviously a lot of these private market and hedge fund managers want to come down market. So they're looking at innovative, interval funds, for example, products.
That again is so key, because I think the products of the past were built for institutional clients. And if we are to move forward, we need to think about what types of clients, what types of needs do private clients have, and what kind of products do we need to build for that. So speaking of that future state, as you think about both of our organizations working together, what's the future state look like? What are we working towards?
We have a roadmap that's going to get us to a place where we have a really nice integration, not only the proposal generation and the advisor being able to see this overall holistic allocation, but also even being able to manage that allocation together. The Unified Managed Account program is our best program because it has the most flexibility. It enables the advisor to put an SMA next to an ETF, next to a model. What we would like to see happen, and where the roadmap needs to go, is our respective platforms enable the advisor to have either a UMA or a unified managed household experience where they're managing these types of instruments all together in one package.
That's an extremely impactful goal, because clearly being able to manage the portfolio holistically, with a single platform, everything at your fingertips, it is so key for really growing from the allocations where they may be today of 5% or less to alternatives towards that 20%. Being able to manage that all in one is so key. So it's on the roadmap, it's a destination, and we're very much looking forward to getting there together with you. So Dana, thanks so much for joining us today and for sharing your insights on how tech is enabling access to alternatives. And thank you for your continued partnership.
Happy to be here.
Thanks, Dana. And we'd like to hear from you. Send us an email at yourquestion@iCapitalNetwork.com and let us know what questions are at the forefront for you and your clients. I'm Anastasia Amoroso, and thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time on Beyond 60/40.